In this last part of the video for week 6 process modeling unit, we will discuss another example on the dynamic LAM models. In this particular case, it is an unsteady state continuous stir tank reactor. Reactor don't always run at steady state, especially in pharmaceutical productions. Because in pharmaceutical product productions, normally as we discussed previously, there needs to be a strict batch-to-batch quality monitoring, and then also that relatively small quantities are required. That's why batch mode will be in favor much more than the continuous mode. So for this particular example, we have two equations, 1 and 2. The first equation expresses the change in the concentration with respect to time. The second equation expresses the change in temperature with respect to time. And all the variables that are included in the equations are described in here, where we have reactor volume, volumetric flow rate, concentration, temperature, time, reaction rate constant, activation energy, void fraction, density, heat capacity per mass, heat of reactions in energy per mole, and then the subscript F in here indicates the fluid phase, whereas S indicates the solid phase. The two equations can be converted into the dimensionless form to simplify the calculations. Okay, the first one expresses the concentration change. The second one, the temperature change. The dimensionless concentration is expressed as in terms of this. The dimensionless temperature is expressed in terms of this. Dimensionless time expressed in terms of this. In relation with the flow rate and the volume of the reactor. And then we have three dimensionless number, Dahm-Kohler number, Lewis number, and beta. Dahm-Kohler in here related with the reactions, whereas the Lewis in here related with the heat capacity of the system in here. And then beta in here is also I think the ratio between the concentrations with the temperature, or this basically involve the heat of the reactions, and then this one is involving the heat capacity. If we take in this example the typical numerical values of beta 0.15, gamma 30, Dahm-Kohler 0.115, Lewis 1080, and then we have as the initial conditions is the dimensionless concentration at time t equals 0, 0.7, and then the dimensionless temperature at time t equal 0 is equal to 1. What we need to do to solve this problem in MATLAB is that we need to create a M file to compute the right hand side of the derivative. Okay, so in this particular example, we have this a function, M file function called rate limit with the two input of t and y, and then C, or the dimensionless concentrations, will be the first component of y. On the other hand, the dimensionless temperature will be the second component of y. And then rate in here is defined as in here, dimensionless concentration multiplied by Dahm-Kohler multiplied by exponential of gamma multiplied by 1 minus 1 over dimensionless temperature. And then these two terms in here is corresponds to these two derivatives in here, or the two ODE. Once we define those functions, we can then set a driver code to run the program to use the ODE 45 toolbox using the functions that we defined earlier, from 0 to 2. So this will be the time that it is solved. So from the time will be from 0 to 2. And then this 2 is the initial value for the concentration and the temperature, and both are dimensionless. In here we specify a global for this beta, gamma, Damköhler, and Lewis, so that all these variables can exist in all over the MATLAB M files that are used to run this particular code or to solve this particular problem. Okay, tick in here and talk in here serve as a stopwatch, where tick is basically when you start the stopwatch, and then talk is when you stop the stopwatch. So whatever the comment or the code that are put in between this tick and talk, how long they are will be known. Okay, and the next one is we plot the concentrations and the temperature using a different a symbol. Okay, so let's look at the result in here. Okay, the first one, the one on the top is the temperature, and then the one on the bottom is the concentrations. When we run it from 0 to 2, we think that the temperature has no change. As you can see in here, the temperature is almost constant. The concentration, on the other hand, increase in here. Okay, it looks as if the temperature is already steady, whereas the concentration increase. Okay, and then what we need to look in here as well is that if you run it up to 2, and then what will happen is this code can be run only using 0.004 seconds. Next one, we run it up to 20. How to run it up to 20 is we just need to change this 2 in here to 20. If we want to run it to 1000, then we change this 2 to 1000. If we want to run it to 10,000, then we just simply change this 2 to 10,000. Okay, if we run it to 20, again, the concentrations will look as if it's reached the steady state. The temperature, it seems as the temperature does not change. Okay, we see that it's only requiring about 0.005. Then we want to see what actually happens, so we run it up to 1000 in here. As you can see in here, the concentration seems to be that we think is already steady is actually decreasing now. Okay, we see that there is a decreasing part, linearly decreasing part in the sections in here. The temperature that we think is already constant now we can start to notice that it's basically increase, but the increase is very slow. And then what we can see again in here is that once we change the final time to 1000, then the computational time that is required becomes higher by 2 orders of magnitude, from 0.005 to 0.1. Okay, then we want to inspect this problem more, so we increase the time to something that is much larger, 40,000. As we can see in here, okay, the concentrations is the one shown in the bottom, the temperature is the one that is shown on the top. So now we can see that the real profile for the concentration is actually going up and then decaying down, whereas temperature is increasing very slowly from 1, I think around to 1.04. Okay, so what we can observe in here is once we increase it to 40,000, then the computational time that is required increased by another 1 order of magnitude. So that one is a quite significant computational time that is required as you go and solve from 2 to 40,000. Okay, in here what we can tell is that the temperature responds much more slowly than the concentration. As you can see that in order for you to see the whole change in the temperature, then you need to go to 40,000. Okay, whereas we can see that the concentration pretty much change for the different level of change that we implement in here. So in essence, in here what happens is that the temperature and the concentration, they have a different time characteristics. Okay, and when we have such systems, when there is a different time characteristics, or the time responses of the concentration and the temperature is different, then the system is called stiff. Okay, for that particular system of ODEs where it is stiff, then we can use a special ODE solver such as ODE15S in MATLAB, which can solve such system much quicker than the normal ODE45. Okay, with this then I conclude the lecture for week 6. Thank you for listening.